Son of Hamas, Mosab Hassan Yousef, the son of a Hamas co-founder and leader, has responded to President Biden's ceasefire proposal. And I want to read to you what he says because I can't help but agree with him. Here's what he says. Biden continues to humiliate himself and insult his most trusted allies. The man has reached a new low by recognizing terrorists as a legitimate counterpart on the negotiating table, while indirectly delegitimizing his most powerful ally in a region infested with American enemies. It is evident that the Hamas hostage card was meant to force Israel to surrender from the early beginning of war, and the Biden administration is aware of Hamas's dirty play. Hamas does not want a deal. They want to stay in power, get international recognition, release mass murderers, delegitimize Israel, humiliate the United States, divide the world, and finally establish their Islamic State. So why in the world is the US president continuing to embarrass himself and pressuring his allies? Look, Mosab Hassan Yousef is completely right, and he knows Hamas better than most. He grew up in the heart of the evil ideology of Hamas, his father being one of the co-founders and leaders. And he knows that these are people whose entire identity, persona, belief system is about the destruction of the Jewish state and the Jewish people. That's what they're about. So this is who you want to negotiate with. This is who you want to have a ceasefire agreement with, where presumably they're going to stay in power. So what's he saying? We're going to have a ceasefire. You're going to have far more aid come in to Gaza, which will inevitably make its way to Hamas, because they run a dictatorial, corrupt, evil, authoritarian regime. And they believe that all the Arabs are completely expendable in the cause of destroying the Jews. Secondly, there's going to be the return of the hostages. And then lastly, there's going to be a long-term ceasefire. Now, of course, let me be clear. Every single day I pray for the return of every single hostage, as do millions of people around the world. But a ceasefire plan like this keeps Hamas in power, emboldens them further, encourages them to do more of what they did, because through taking hostages, they're going to get their ceasefire plan, they're going to stay in power. They're going to be incentivized to do more attacks because they'll see that Israel is prepared to ultimately do these ceasefire agreements. Israel should not, in my humble opinion, and I think the opinion of many, many, many people around the world who support and love Israel and the Jewish people, Israel should not, cannot agree to a ceasefire that breaks the original objectives of the war, which was the complete destruction of Hamas. You know, the other problem is the signal that this would send to Israel's other enemies. It projects weakness, and most of all, it threatens Israel's security. You come into our country, kill over 1,000 of our people, take 250 hostage. You're not coming out of this alive. That has to be the message, and it has, of course, been the message till now, but a ceasefire agreement where you just continue to maintain the status quo, it's unacceptable. Unacceptable for the people of Israel. Unacceptable for any country that faced the kind of atrocity, mini-genocide that occurred on October 7th. No, what every single person living in Israel has the right to is to be able to live in peace and security, and the knowledge that those who seek to hurt them in any way will be dealt with comprehensively. So Mossab is right. He knows the world of the Middle East. He knows that strength is the only language that they understand there. And therefore, this whole ceasefire arrangement is clearly wrong. And it's clearly going to send the wrong signals. It's clearly going to be something that's compromising to what Israel needs to do in Israel's security. And therefore, Mossab believes, and he says, this is something that should be utterly rejected. Thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.